Hey everybody, Chris Ducker here, and welcome to the Virtual Staff Finder website. Thanks very much for dropping by today. And here we are with another one of our very popular video testimonials. I'm here with Virtual Staff Finder client and good friend, Mr. Corbett Barr from thinktraffic.net. Corbett, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
Still handsome, just like yourself. It's always good stuff. Now, we do these little interviews for, I guess for prospective clients and fans of Virtual Staff Finder, and just for, people who enjoy working with virtual assistants to get a little bit more of an in-depth idea in a short space of time as to the type of entrepreneurs that use virtual assistants and what they use them for and things like that. So, a few quick questions, starting off straight off the bat with the first one. Why did you decide to start looking at the idea of working with a virtual assistant in the first place?
Well, for me, as an entrepreneur, I know that I can easily become constrained in terms of time. There are only so many hours in the day, and I often find myself working on tasks that I know I could be assigning to someone else. There's this whole concept of you should be doing the highest value things you can possibly do. And I know when I'm doing things like scrubbing data, prepping transcripts, all this kind of stuff, that I'm not really delivering the most value I can to my business.
Right.
And and sometimes in the beginning, that's okay when you want to really learn everything that's going on with your business.
Right.
Just as I've grown over time, I know that there are things that I do on a regular basis that are keeping me from doing other higher value things like brainstorming new projects, trying to get new relationships going with people, and all sorts of things like that. So it was clear. In fact, I think I was long overdue for having some help.
Well, I remember before you even came to Virtual Staff Finder, you and I had discussed it like last year, I think, or something, right? When we were having a chat. So, I mean, you're right. You probably were long overdue. And I mean, this is the one thing that I see above and beyond everything else, which is the common denominator with probably 95% of the people that utilize Virtual Staff Finder is the time constraint. It's leveraging the time, getting more hours in a day, so things just like that. There's a reminder, don't irritate the crap out of you all day long. Actually, this reminder is for this conversation. So we're actually working ahead of ourselves. That's how bloody efficient we really are. But I mean, okay, so going on from there then, your VA you found through Virtual Staff Finder, what is your VA doing for you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, the other thing is I found myself using Elance and Odesk and sites like that quite a bit for one-off services. And that can be useful, but when I looked at my total spend every month, I realized when you and I talked versus the cost of like a full-time virtual assistant, I realized I was paying for a lot of services and getting only about maybe a third or a half of what it would take a full-time person to do that, and probably paying more than it costs to hire a full-time person. So for me, it really became a no-brainer. I was getting a lot of transcripts done every month. I was having people write articles for me for certain niche sites. I was paying for link building and things like that, all through these third-party services. And I just realized the people you and I, someone to do most of that for me, they could complete all of that work that I was having done prior, probably in half of a working month, and then I could use the rest of that month for other stuff. So it was really, it really just made complete sense. And then I can train one person and get them up to speed, and make sure that they know how to do things to my liking, and it'll just be a better ongoing relationship, more value, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you bring up the train word there. It's very important because I think a lot of first-time outsourcers might think that their VAs can do everything and anything under the sun. It's not the case. Those who have outsourced to VAs before know that for a fact. But I think as long as you keep that in the back of your mind that you do have to spend some time with them, you do have to sort of walk them through certain processes, particularly because a few of us are a little bit more OC than others in the way that we want things done. I'm very particular in the way I like things laid out and presented and things like that. So when I start working with people for myself and the businesses that I run, I'm always very, very, very kind of attached to them for the first few days, walking them through things and spending time with them and giving them the opportunity to kind of ask questions and things like that. And I'm sure you're probably the same sort of character, right?
Right. Yeah. Especially like for the first week, we Skyped every day basically to make sure that she was feeling comfortable and getting up to speed. And we're still communicating a lot. And the approach that I'm taking is basically to assign one sort of type of tasks like transcripts or writing articles or something, and sort of work on that and give her time to digest it and get up to speed and learn how to do that well. But then, as you and I were talking recently, actually, you mentioned in another video that I should be adding on more things and making sure that I'm challenging her. So I'm just sort of taking that process slowly. And I know that a lot of getting value from someone is up to me. It's not up to the person as well. And so it's all about becoming a better boss as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Do that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. All right. So look, to wrap this up, you know, I want honest opinions here. How was your overall virtual staff finder experience? How did you find the entire process?
So, I mean, first of all, I can't imagine doing this on my own. I mean, I think virtual staff finder is a no-brainer. If you're looking to hire someone overseas, you know, how would you do that yourself? I don't know. You would look on Craigslist or something, and it would just be a whole big process of going through like dozens and dozens of resumes and you know, false positives and all that kind of stuff. So virtual staff finder no doubt saved me a ton of time, because you guys went out, found a bunch of candidates, and in my process, honestly, a couple of those candidates didn't work out initially as part of the interviews. And what you guys did was you went back to the pool, found a new set of candidates, set up new interviews for me. And Steph did a great job. I mean, she actually scheduled the interviews, communicated with everyone, collected resumes, collected questionnaires, little, you know, snippets about everybody. So I was fully prepared to do the interviews. Basically, all I had to do was tell Steph when I would be available, tell you guys what I was looking for, and then show up for the interviews.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, it couldn't be much easier than that.
Great. Okay. Well, look, I'm very happy that you've you know, that you had a good experience, that your VA is working out. You know, sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board a little bit in the hiring process. It's the same for us here locally as well. So, you know, for you know, to get that one VA hired and those 3 candidates put together, we don't just interview 5 or 6 people. You know, we really try and weed out the weak players before they get to our clients. Every now and then, one might slip through the net, but it's very, very rare. And when it does happen, as you mentioned, we correct it. We do it quickly and professionally, and we make sure that our clients are happy. That's always number one, and that's what it's about.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
No problem. It was all our pleasure. And thank you very much for spending a little bit of time today just to record this quick interview. I appreciate it. And I wish you all the best and continued success with everything you're doing. You're crushing it, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say online. And yeah, anybody that wants to find out a little bit more about Corbett and what he's all about, you can head over to thinktraffic.net. Fantastic blog, great resources, and some really, really good quality content. So, Corbett, you the man. Take good care, and thanks again, brother.
Thanks, Chris.
All right.